ahead.
Okay, we're good. Okay, we're going to call the meeting to order. Touch base.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Aaron's.
Here.
Mr. Christensen.
Present.
Mr. Burrick.
Yes.
And Ms. Ross.
Here.
We have a quorum.
We have an agenda, approval of the agenda. Any corrections, additions? That's been changed a little since I sent it out. But, no.
I'd just like to ask if Rosalie needs to get to another meeting, if you.
Came from it, so I'm here.
Okay.
We might go on for 3 hours.
Well, I probably won't linger that long.
No.
Thank you.
Okay. Approval of the agenda, please.
I so move.
Support. Thank you. All in favor? Thank you.
Aye.
Okay.
Aye.
Any public comment at this point? Okay. Action items. First one is Maple Valley Nursing Home got put on there. Just to mention that the drain field, the new drain field for the nursing home is connected, and they've disconnected from us, I assume, and we're all set on that. Any comments, thoughts? Okay.
So, wait, we aren't going to do anything with it? Not crushing it, we're not?
No
No,
crush.
nothing,
Apparently,
okay.
if you don't put a structure on it, according to Laurel, we don't have to crush it or anything.
But we can park on it?
We can-
Okay.
Okay.
It's just if you had to do some excavation, they recommend pumping, crushing.
But if we put a park area there, or drive on it, it's okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, you can double check on that. Okay, next item is reviewing the master plan that Kevin has worked on for us. And how do we want to approach that? Kevin?
Yeah. So, I brought along prints today of the draft, let's call it draft, or working Myles Kimmerly master plan layout that incorporates a good amount, or not the majority of all of the items we spoke about in our initial on-site meeting, which was months ago. And first, I'd say I appreciate your patience on this too. I know we've been working to get you something over the last couple of months, but hopefully we have a lot to look at and consider and discuss about this plan today. And finally, we major significant changes, revisions, and things. I don't see why we can't get final updates ready relatively soon after today. We can talk about schedule maybe a little bit, what the schedule is after this meeting in terms of final draft plan. I know that it's going to be incorporated into a public meeting to allow for public comment at one point. So I'd like to get that to you, and we can, and if that's on your schedule, have that for you then. The prints, as I mentioned, are from the PDF that I sent you a couple weeks ago. I thought that probably the best use of our time would be to kind of gather around the table and allow me to explain, without having a large projector or something here, some of the updates and design layout options that we have put together, to walk you through those and maybe get your comments and thoughts. We didn't take this 100% right out of the way, but I want to get enough here to generate some good comments from you all. In addition, I do have some, when we talked about parking, a large portion of the improvements include additional parking for not only pickleball, but for the remainder of the park. We took a look at the facilities that you have, the elements of the facilities, ball fields, buildings, playgrounds, trail, put some parking numbers to those, so like one parking spaces for each, and then kind of, justify, maybe 50, 60 car parking addition here. So I will share that with you as well. I do have hard copies of that. I think we have about 6 or so the copies need to be made. We can run some of the work before. I do have a USB stick, but if you can the screens, we'll be able to look at that from, so. Yeah, I think that the best thing would be to kind of follow along at the end. If you don't have any immediate questions.
Well, I just want to say, maybe we could start with that portion that 4-H is most concerned with, if you wouldn't mind, and then Rosalie wouldn't have to sit through the rest of the
That makes
conversation, even though you're welcome to stay. And she is a county resident, of course, but can we do that, though? Is that okay
Sure.
with everybody, or?
Should we gather around for that, or?
Sure.
Let's do that.
All right, so I do have 2 copies, larger copies of these thin sheets. But put one down on each end if you want, or we can start with one and see if we can all make out one and one layout here. So why don't we start with that? We need a phone number set up for everybody. We can do that. So, as you see, kind of, well, to start out here, all this is drawn off of the latest aerials that we can find on this on Google. You probably see some things in here that either don't exist anymore or did exist. We traced pretty much everything on here from the aerial. Not having on-the-ground topographic information and utilizing some of the pictures that we took during our walk and street view to kind of, fill in some of the gaps that may have changed. So if something doesn't look completely accurate when it does today, please let me know. This topographic information is kind of general. It's what we call LiDAR. Topo is publicly available and it's kind of flowing from way up here sort of thing. So it's close counts, but it does illustrate pretty well, I think, the landforms, slopes, some of the shape of the land and where things are going. We can look at grades, and I'll get into that a little bit. With that LiDAR, we can kind of figure out what sensitive some of this stuff is. It's never as good as actually doing topo when the time comes, but for this planning purposes, I think this is appropriate and best use of this information that we have. So, all of these updates are things that we talked about when we were out on the ground out there. We didn't really formulate new, let's say, ideas or sort of, oh, this would be good or that would be good sort of thing here, because I think we covered a lot of the desires for what you wanted. I'll start with some main things. I'll go through them real quick and then we can kind of go into them. But relocation of the driving range. So this is to scale. This fits, and this is 200 yards. So you have the ability to do this and stay within, this access gravel driveway right here. I'm going to say property lines are approximate on this. So if that's actually on the other side, maybe may not, that gravel driveway is ours. Okay. So try to get it as close as we could to scale of what we have.
This one.
Yeah. Yep. So. So thought being, moving the driving range over here, providing what I'm showing here is a simple 6-car gravel pull-off parking space to facilitate, a driving range key box or something here. But maintaining and getting it off of the south side, main portion of the park.
What was the reason for taking it off?
Just the expressed desire to get it moved over here, but then also putting in potentially locating a proposed disc golf, we call it a warm-up short course there that I know, I believe there's already been layout maybe thought about.
Sort of being discussed that with
Is that
and walking path. Or in the. Yeah.
up through here, because this is where the driving range is right now, and having this trail come down to this lower elevation would probably be an influence of that 150-yard, let's say, shot, which is pretty achievable. But the roof's there. I don't know what that means for maintenance, if this thing ends up having to mow continually, or what that is. You know, I guess from what I heard, it's not like there's a group of 100 people who use this every 2 weeks at the driving range, but the people who do use it, always having the space for it. I don't show any improvements over here, though I know we did talk potentially a dog park came up. And it might have been in the old edition of the master plan with a space over here for a dog park. Yeah, and if that's desirable, we can go ahead and show that on there. Location wise, I think it's a good location. You do know that some people with the dog park like to be a little closer to the activities or closer to the main parking area, but similarly, having the dogs run around and that kind of sort of thing would be good to, locate a little further away.
What's this? That's another horse cattle. So it's the smaller one, and this is the larger one. The lot is covered up here.
Yeah.
That label. The parking lot. But just with the label, this is all the 4-H stuff. Here, the old 4-H underneath that.
And I guess putting dogs next to the horse paddocks, I don't know that.
Right now, there's no use by horses. It's just kind of overwhelming. This one is used sometimes for practice for animals like longer than alpacas and smaller
It has been used
cattle
for
products.
6 years.
6 years or so.
Bring it up, or just obsolete.
What?
Is the horse, used for the horse, I mean, this is better for the horses and everything. Why hasn't it been used in 6 years?
This has been used in 6 years. I've been with Extension for 7, so I know that we've used that a couple of years for long alpaca, an obstacle course preparing for fair, but very limited use. It's not like it was in the past, but
2015 was last year.
So the horse is a trial sport?
so horses have not been out there in my time. Not that I've been out there.
We put 120 yards of sand in there, parked it, and hadn't been used forever. What was the purpose of the sand? The horse people were complaining there was too many rocks and stuff. So it was amazing, like why, and then they never used it.
So, and ultimately getting to a master plan, does this thing stay here, do you think, at least as a shape, in the graphic, or, just in an area of, maybe with the exception of a dog park, an area of, I might say not improvement, but not significant improvement in terms of change of use?
I'm forever an optimist that maybe one day 4-H will want to use it again. There will be new routes that we will utilize that, but I'm open to multi-uses, not just 4-H. So
Yeah.
Isn't that also where there's interest in putting them as state route?
Yeah.
That's where we want to put it, so why?
You mentioned archery, where did they do the archery?
So we shoot until about this spot. But of course, that could all be changed.
Sure.
Just find a different location.
Are you gonna have to address the 25-year set aside? I mean, that's coming pretty soon, right? The deadline, or the end of that timeframe, we would have to reformulate something.
The archery is just 6 months or something.
Right now, we have another club that might use the space next spring, but that will have to be discussion.
So for 4-H, this is a plus and a very useful thing to have for the program?
It is. We regularly use it. And I think the other thing is that it does come down to me also expressing to all of our livestock council, which is a 5-county council, that they are welcome to come out and use that space, the horse paddock. When you talk about dog parks, this seems like a perfect, it is off, but then you do parking pathway, porta potty, whatever, and that is a contained space already that could be then reutilized because we do dog projects in 4-H as well. So that's a nice thing to think about that.
So that we would just scale with the lake here, so that would be, you know, it's a, yeah, 100 by 60 or 70. Right now, as it says, doesn't mean they can't be expanded.
Maybe they're going to adjacent, little dogs here, the big dogs here, or something like that.
I do know some municipalities are going to issue dog parks over the woods to spread it. Disease. Have you been allowed to do that at all?
Haven't heard a lot about it, but it doesn't surprise me, you know. I know in Traverse, they have their dog parks that are being open. And I guess I haven't heard anything in the news per se, I haven't come across that. Dog parks do come up. We've probably only done one or two, I guess, in my time up here. And they seem to be still there, you know. So, but I wouldn't be surprised if
Because I know it's just when that coming, released, downstate, neighboring area, that's another disease.
Parvo.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah, right.
Where's the closest dog park?
The Bay now has it.
Yeah, so
North part.
Northport has one, just one effort.
There's not one that I can think of off the top of my head.
So I'm thinking, I don't know, we kind of dropped it when we were discussing it, weren't we? Did we come up with a consensus that we liked it or we didn't like it?
I think it's a general discussion, it kind of hits the boards and it's generally discussed. It's a little bit surprising how much money it takes to actually get it in.
Yeah.
I think some favorite or some of that, but, you know,
We have a
that's about as
CIP
far
for
as we got.
we have a CIP for dog park and we estimated 40,000. That was back in 21, 2 years ago.
I kind of feel like because of the location and the general largeness of this park, we definitely have the ability to do it if we could put it in and then obviously based on funding, if it happens or not, but it certainly wouldn't take away anything that 4-H would use that area for. Pardon?
It's along the same.
Totally, yeah.
Cruise.
Yeah.
And the space here is pretty wide open, it lends itself to, you can always just put a, you know, it's a rectangular box out there and
Outside for.
Yeah,
Yeah. It's away from the high volume traffic.
that's really,
I think it's- And there's no homes, right? We already discussed that.
right.
One here or something, but right, Scott?
There's one actually.
The dog.
Until they sell.
Well, with that,
There would be close to ours.
It's far enough away from the nursing home, so. From there, that's
I do know that they do like water, other dog parks. Water bowls and, you know, the apartments that have the doggy bowls attached to it. The other thing that we've done in that Sutton's Bay is they actually put in irrigation for that too. Yeah, and it was a lot, it was a lot to do, it was a lot to do with the establishment, and they had an irrigation line right nearby, so the costs were huge. But, you know, it makes sense of having a nice, grass surface because it turns to dirt and mud, gets run up and, dries out in the summertime, and turns to dust, and it rains, and it turns to mud. It's not used everywhere. Yeah, that was their approach. And then if they did have to put some down there and manually put sprinklers to make sure it established in areas that were dying and that sort of thing. So, but if there's no water out here.
There is water just on your
Oh, okay, which you would, right, yeah.
You drink it out on the straight now.
So that's a desirable thing.
It was close to time.
But it's here.
Well, you get the fake ones, you put them in there so they can pee on them.
Where you put your thing,
Where is it?
I'm sorry.
one right here, this one right
You're
here.
not putting all of the things we say, oh.
Hydrant,
Oh, there's water over there. Put it in.
So, yeah. Okay, so that's good. So they're good, so it's there.
And there's water.
Okay.
And is that from the well on that side? So there's the well
And there's water.
Let me just ask a question. Are we like, is this plan like for sure stuff we want to do, or is it still kind of a living, breathing document where we can throw these things in?
Oh, this is like a chest, we know those figures, this is this is our first pass.
Okay, so throwing in these ideas is still a good,
Oh,
seen as a
absolutely.
good thing, okay.
It's good to have a full wish list,
Yes.
according to all the input we've had, that's, I think, pack it in. This is our second go, first go, now this is second go, and
So that's pretty early.
It's pretty good.
Oh, Steve, you're silly. Okay, okay. Yes.
This is.
Oh, yeah. And so whatever.
but there is a hill that's huge, like everybody. It's, right through here.
Well, it's where John planted it on the side.
Is that what they use? They don't use this as much?
For about 10 years. Yes.
We had talked about a baseball field over here, nothing in favor of that, or a golf thing, yeah. But we put in these pickleball courts, which are very popular, we have to put them some, excuse me, we're taking out a baseball diamond, I think, right? And was that,
Fairly.
working?
It's fairly unused. Usually, yeah, it's just a T-ball.
So the baseball people are good enough for these two fields?
Probably.
Well, that's important.
Yeah. But really.
So maybe,
That's who's gonna ask.
so it's like a chessboard, you wouldn't, give them more baseball over here, put pickleball over here. You know, you get something over here, but you keep it natural, which I would prefer maybe, but, you know, maybe we can't.
Yes.
So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Yeah, this is correspondence from Ben, P-A-P-E-S, that's pronounced his last name. It looks like he's talking about the two fields. Permanent 200-foot fences on the two fields. And allow not only Little League tournaments to be held, but also high school and adult softball tournaments.
The right size.
Use that. One field at all.
Yeah, so the use of this field is almost non-existent.
And, you know, families, the picnic people want to have like kickball and some elements to say for.
So Scott, these are the appropriate size?
Little league. Yeah, they're too small for softball. Way too small.
It's not, we're really limited.
Yeah,
Just
200.
a little league, just a little league.
Fence.
So no high school, no softball.
Where was it, 200-foot fence?
Where it's shown right now.
Leagues and stuff.
You can see the mark, what you might see on, you can see the markers that are in the field here. And I drew my lines to those markers and completed the outfield fence on that. You know, there's a lot of times you can see that on the stake of the winder. It'll take a different shape sometimes with like that. That could do that, but I just kind of swung the radius from the actual post points out there. And yeah, 192 or something. Yep.
So you feel that's, I'm sorry,
No, go ahead.
you feel that's a 200-foot, I mean, if he's talking a 200-foot fence, is that a 200-foot fence on that field?
Yeah, so that if you went from home field, or I mean, the base, home base to the outfield, should be, you know, your right marked foul lines, you get about 200 feet.
Right up the big wall, guys.
In this rendition, and we'll talk about a few options there, but yeah, it looks like 200 can be achieved. It is right now, pretty close, 190 to 200, so.
So we jumped over there because of this area, right? Is that what you were kind of saying, Don? But we don't need to turn that into a baseball field. That's a whole
Somebody
nother.
wanted to do that, they wanted
They wanted to have a traveling team, we kind of do that. I mean, the high school has a baseball team, but they have their own fields, and they don't need us.
it, they wanted us. They wanted that.
Yeah, but I think that's a major change, so you're losing that baseball field, but walking over it, from what I heard when we were talking, and actually, gentleman Eric Wilkie from our office mentioned he goes out there all the time because he does baseball with his sons and stuff, he said there's really, really.
So I just want to make it clear, for baseball, Myles Kimmerly is going to be available for the Little League only in 2 fields. Boom. No softball, nothing else, which is fine. I just want to clarify for all of us if that's true or not.
Why is that, Don?
Well, he says, this guy says that if the outfield fence is at 200 feet, there could be,
Should be softball.
4 softball, yeah, it could be softball,
Well, it could be.
is what he's saying.
Oh, okay.
Middle
Scott said
school,
no.
middle school and adult softball.
Okay. Well,
I think that would be important to make that versatile.
I think so, yeah, we just have to, yeah, this much just for a little league, and not anything else, doesn't seem. Right. So that's good, we can do softball.
Yeah, that's great.
I'm not texting.
We can't do everything for everything.
I think the first goal, we had large baseball fields.
They haven't changed.
Well, it would be a real change of focus if the Little League is into this space and they're using it, and it fits what they're doing.
It's just some minor improvements or.
I was looking at that, and I'm referencing,
Fine. We don't cut trees. That's several rounds. Oh, they just put on the
I'm looking at the civic center downtown. Right,
So you're-
softball.
You're saying this is the problem?
It's tight, but it depends on what the fence height is for safety. You don't want a football player getting knocked out.
Another, it's just structures.
But can't we reconfigure that so that that is no longer there?
Yeah, and I think that's gonna be a big area to change and look at. To me, I was looking at the fields and at the Civic Center, the men's softball fields are 270. So that would, this would extend all the way out to there, that's 270 feet to, say, where the men play. Similarly, that would be out to, you can't see it, or almost to the edge of the skin of the infield on this third, third baseball field. That's probably the most.
So you're saying if you make one available for softball, you should make 2. Just have a softball field.
I think even if you have one, if you expanded one to accommodate the larger softball, I think 200 feet. If it's men's league, maybe.
If you move the fence further back to the softball, then it's not going to affect the Little League. I mean, can hit it all over the fence.
No, but you like to have a backstop there in the Little League.
I would doubt that men's leagues would,
Yeah.
because it's closed.
Alcohol.
It's no alcohol, it's no lights.
Yeah. And then what's the next closest ball field?
Cedar.
Cedar. Okay.
Well, if it's, if we can get middle school softball plus,
Yes, who's going to use
plus
it?
Little League, that's a plus.
So you don't design it for men's softball.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, men's league can go where the fields are pretty easily. Whereas if this is school oriented, this is kid oriented, it's for community versus.
Yeah. Yeah, the ones at Cedar are 290 feet.
That's Cedar.
That's, yeah, that's, so there's a difference between Little League and the big boys softball, and you'd really be eating into some space in some potential pickleball areas or parking areas if you were to expand it. So,
Okay.
you limit it to Little League, or someone wants to.
Or just regular,
Yeah.
normal.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not really soft, yeah.
That's a big enough field, people enjoy it.
They make it trees.
But it just seems like with the parking so large to squeeze those uses so tight. I'd like to, yes, when we get to that.
Yep.
I'd like to go back here. We sort of sold this off and say that this is working on this project.
Yeah.
That was us.
And back to the question of whether there can be some, maybe not as hard-lined improvement items, some further ones down the line. So you get your final master plan here, you can identify it that way. I would encourage doing that and say,
That way the students say, look, we've already made some roundage.
future dog park facility or campus or, whatever you want to call it. It sounds good. Okay, this will remain as is and still, be used as is, so we'll show it this way. I'll stick with showing the, driving range over on this side. I think 6 parking car spots great, as long as you identify it at this point in the new master plan, that's good. If that ends up being 4 spots or 10, whatever, that's good. Yeah, okay.
I know Scott is our most trustworthy opinion person here because he's there more than anyone on this planet, but I just think that 10 acres, right? For a couple people to play golf when they can go down the road for $5.
It's cheap. What's it doing now?
Well, that's what it could do, and of course, I'm just gonna continue to throw out that north side.
How far down the road? How far down?
I go down the street to my golfing range. I just think it's just a wonderful opportunity to keep it more natural. It's more in keeping with the horses next door. I just think of all the mowing. I'm not 100% sold on that. And I know Steve Steyer with the 4 barns, he's got lovely ideas that I would like to explore. And if we turned it into a driving range, that would be kind of lost. Maybe not permanently, it always change, but I just see that part as pretty unique to our area.
It's nice with pollinators too. It's very natural. You get into those golf areas, you are doing a whole other thing with chemicals and lots of maintenance.
He just mows.
Just those.
Well,
Both golfers make me happy with that.
What's the use of, what is the use of
Right
that?
here, right here. Oh, that's where it is now.
No, it's
it's right
here.
here, actually.
So how much?
Is there anything that would prevent you from calling this flex space and then future use possibly for driving?
Yeah.
That way at least you've addressed where it could go.
Yep.
It's not gonna be there. It
It's
could
going
be
to
there.
be there.
Yeah,
It's gonna be,
we can call it potential.
it's our arm wrestling spot.
Yeah.
Is a driving range a priority for us?
So that, all of those questions are good. But I think getting right down to it, we're not gonna have it on that side anymore.
Yep.
Okay,
And it may or may not exist anymore.
Correct.
The nice thing is, there's no infrastructure here related to it, so it could come up one year and it could not be there the next year very easily, so you're not really committing to much. Main thing is though, we know we can at least accommodate what was being offered here in terms of length and the ranges that you want and hit, and fit, so.
When I walk on the trails over here, and I haven't a lot, whenever I do, I see people walking their dogs on the trails over here. I wonder if they would like the dog park here, with some trails and some of the
There's
dog
trails
trails.
around there.
That you mow.
I mean, if there was a dog park
That's the
here.
trail right there.
I can remember. I didn't
Yeah.
hear. So maybe just.
They like something small.
You
Yeah.
You know, I'm not trying to chase you out of here, but you get bored here.
Yeah.
Across the street.
Yeah.
You go get bored over there. Here.
That could be a dog walking area, and then a dog park and a trail for the dogs.
Is your policy all dogs on a leash in the park?
Yeah,
In
there's a sign.
state law? Yeah, okay. Because I didn't know if this was a potential off leash area.
Unless you're playing frisbee with your dog.
You can't tell them that. Yeah.
It's just a state law.
It kind of makes sense to have it delineated on the sidewalk, because if you keep this passive, your options are much more infinite.
And then the water will come inside, right? Scott,
Up and over.
your 10 acres? No.
No, 10 acres.
So for a dog park, you need water use.
Mhm. And then this could be, just, flexible recreation space. And leave it at that. And I can take this off of there because once this gets shown on there, you know, it's gonna be where to go. You know, I'm not saying it can't be there, but you know, it fits. So we'll leave it open and call it flexible recreation
It's
space.
just my,
We just got out of this driving room.
or if you do put a golf range, it can be changed in and out.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a few posts, there's no concrete, there's no electricity.
No.
It's just mowing a vacant field.
Yeah.
So you wouldn't necessarily have to put
Yeah,
a
if you want
parking area in this one.
Yeah, so.
Plenty of parking.
Maybe
to,
not.
no spot.
You can just pull off into the field.
Yeah, right.
Get louder than
It's
the
pretty
use,
low
it's
budget thing.
underutilized. It's underutilized.
Well, I like the ideas that are coming up. It's a nice list, and it might get even a little more full and point in the direction. In the interim, it might be golf, but that is just interim. That's all teed up and ready to go.
So I think that's good there, then I'll take this off of here. You know, that's called flexible recreation space, and we've only list the potential uses we can, or not, I'll formalize it.
I would have been putting a couple of suggestions, that way, people's concerns
Yeah.
are reduced, addressed,
Yeah.
what could go on.
Can you
I feel
just
like that a little
note
bit.
for me the potential things that you're gonna put in there? Is that the dog park and the driving range?
I guess I would call it, dog park would be over here, so what would be the other term?
You had called it flexible recreation area, and
Yeah.
so that could be where the golf,
That could be the title, you know, under that driving range, walking trails,
Pollination.
Pollinator.
yeah.
Kind of thing.
I won't call it ecological restoration, as it could be, you're not really restoring unless you want to, but,
We were talking about that too.
yeah.
what's
Well,
that called?
The pollinator issue
Ecological
could be a strip
restoration
around the
area.
perimeter.
Building up the soil.
And that would be something that could be, you know, you do the pollinator strip around the perimeter, then just in from that, you've got your walking trail, which you do the walking trail, people can look at the pollinators, it can be, you can put signage on them, and then if it's in that strip, it can be renovated if need be, with another batch of pollinators or whatever that space is used for.
This is turning into a mindfulness area, I think that's.
And I think if that list includes, maybe a more active driving range, and then the very much more passive walking and ecological restoration, those hands off, it says it can be way over here in this end, or it can be on this end, so all of it should be considered.
When you have this, is there any mention in the plan that there's a 25-year lease with 4-H?
I haven't, identified anything. You
That's
know,
up in 1 year.
and if I was to put a leader toward this thing or an indicator, what would this be called? What would it be called? Oh, the barn, obviously. whether this be 4-H, ag, and, trying to think of the
Livestock here.
4-H activity area. Yeah, okay.
I guess I think a plan would be nice just to capture the intent, right, and the current use and then the future use. So if we don't put it in, I feel like kind of
This
it's
is a
lost.
maintenance building, right, Scott? That's all it is. The maintenance building that's kind of in the way.
I think they use it for storage, isn't that where,
Kind of
isn't that where your storage
storage.
is?
It's not tucked in the corner somewhere, just out right in
Well, I think if we label it 4-H activity area, it keeps 4-H in. We still have some years on the document that says it's theirs for that length of time. And then we're going to be doing a handoff, we're going to do another document. Obviously, this barn area got carved out of the 4-H area side. And now we've got potential dog park carved out of that area per se. So working with 4-H and having 4-H say, okay, we're going to do the archery, we're going to do and the llamas, we're going to, I mean, have your list for us to fill in the spaces, and then that'll give 4-H a chance to hang on to this for their uses, which is, you know, it's nice to have a space to do stuff and dedicate it. I mean, that's pretty cool.
I think the dog park, when it's pulled over here, will cut out our archery. We shoot in there. We got the master archery. He was going down into the middle of all this, and that, of course, would not happen anymore.
Okay.
Liability wise, we don't want to shoot at one thing.
Maybe you could still, even if you kept this corner out, you still could get 200 feet by, you know, 80.
That's what's very big.
It's also quite scenic. So it's nice to
Open up people to explore, yeah.
What is right here?
I wonder,
the celebration.
what about turning this into your dog park?
It's just a mound with nasty stuff on it. So
I
this,
don't know, it's
I mean, if this is
all around.
cleaned up, then maybe
The horses.
Main Street
I
should get
tried.
in there.
Each 1 year, it was not good. I didn't have to wait.
See it like that.
I saw it, we're out there one time. Well, that's the other thing about Paddock too, because we aren't the 4-H presence we were in the 80s. We just don't have, you know, the volunteer workforce of like 150 people who are gonna come out there and take the weeds out of Paddock. And do that constantly because they're constantly using it. So if we use it twice a year, that's wonderful, but that's a lot on Scott to do for twice a year. So either I make a plan with my people and open it up much wider and say, please use this space, here's, you know, ask for permission and then come use it. But even, this is a very large thing. Could that become your dog park?
We lose our ice rink. It's actually,
How is that what you're gonna do with the ice rink? I was gonna ask you about ice rink
we could put the ice rink
here.
somewhere.
We need the water. I need the water on this side. That's still.
And this is
Well-
all hilly for parking. We just park in the grass on the hill.
So if this is utilized in the winter for ice skating, would that fit with 4-H somewhat?
Except don't you drain the lines?
Yeah, that's why they can't.
I hate to be the wet blanket. No, I've already said it. Nobody wants. And even the guys was done, like, we don't have water in the winter. Well, we can put it right, we don't have water.
So water is an issue for ice skating.
Kind of.
I mean, you don't have to, is there a way of winterizing the line?
You get the
Yeah,
bury,
bunch of line, sure.
you get the bury a tank,
You get the very.
bury a tank, right?
And then frosted snippets.
Yeah.
You can also get the local, see the fire department, or one buddy, and they can come there. Yeah. Put a tank there and they can fill it.
They won't do it.
Or just let nature.
They would do it?
take its course.
They would not.
Even if we have an ice rink, well, you have to plow it if there's snow.
When you say no water, it's no water anywhere, so it's not like a nice rink to go.
They have no mineralized water out there.
That would require a
It's your
city.
shed.
We actually do, we have a fire hydrant, it's kept alive, but true about it's,
Where is it? Secret?
So the fire department can hook up?
You were saying the fire department's will not flood it? Is that what you were saying?
Yeah.
I used to do that in my hometown.
Mine too, they used to swim.
Yeah.
It still happens.
Yeah, so the state's got the city water next to their rink, which is
Yeah.
pretty sweet. But we'd have to put a system in. We have to bury a tank, and then we have to have the under, yeah, it would be probably a $20,000 thing, or just to have water for ice skating. But I don't know if it's worth it or not.
If there's enough support from the community, they might be willing to donate towards that. Because we're not really talking about ongoing costs when it comes to water rights and water.
Yeah, if we could have I guess we could get a ballpark figure on what it costs.
It doesn't cost much to winterize?
Air compressor to 4 hours to do all purpose. $300 for the compressor.
So if we had ballpark on what a system would cost to have winter water for an ice skating rink, then that would be a number that we could toss around. It could be in the plan, as
You
a
think winter
possible
means you're not
future.
making water available in winter, shutting up our lines.
I know that, but if we want water there, we'd have to have a system that would work at the limit. And you'd have to bury a tank, and you'd have to have the access to it that would be,
Yeah, but right now there is water in some of it.
there's a well, we have a well,
There's a well.
we have a well.
What you can do is you can turn it on, use it, and flush it again, and then there, and blow it out. You can't do that. It's that.
Well, it's problematic in that when you want to do the watering and and have your ice skating, those lines are freezing.
You never narrow
The minute.
You gotta narrow it.
I would say that it'd be problematic to try that approach. I think it logically is, we just need a winterized system. That would be all winter, and then we'd have water for the winter. That would be at a cost. But anyway, we should probably,
Probably close to how far down are the lines right now on the ground? Do you even know? That's a
other lines,
Yeah.
I just noticed, we don't play baseball or soccer in the winter. Why not put the ice rink over here?
Still don't have water.
Yeah.
When you said there's
The
a,
fire
We
hydrant,
still don't have water.
the
There's
fire
no
hydrant.
water.
we'd have to do a system, Matt.
The fire hydrant doesn't.
Still have to do a system.
It'd have to be flushed out, it's an emergency.
Okay, gotcha.
We're gonna do a system, let's go over here where, we already have a flat spot for the rink.
Yeah.
we already made that dog park. See what happens?
But anyway, let's move on.
Yeah.
That's a detail.
So you're gonna put dog park in there, potential ice rink, and
I'd leave the dog park for placeholder here, I might shorten it up.
Can you just turn it this way?
Yeah, we can turn it, or I can turn it into like even an L shape, it doesn't have to be rectangular. The other thing that Steve was just mentioning too is that this is widening a bit.
So that's in the rectangle.
Right. If the archery could be changed this way, but the thing is, we're not committing anything, we're just gonna stay in this general area.
From east to
Yeah. I'd still like to call it sporting activity area, because it's just the very overarching.
not ice rink anywhere.
I can say seasonal ice rink.
I think we need to put it down, because we've been approached, right?
Yeah.
We are. Yeah, so
I think
it's
the
just,
east of it is, you could actually, the horses around the little bars.
Camel, is that in that activity area too?
that
The paddock?
paddock.
Okay, okay.
Okay.
It's flat out, it's real.
Okay.
In late April of this year, we prioritized all the things we talked about, and the pavement trail came out, the kiosk came out, and the pickleball courts came out. As the top three things we think we should do, kiosks, and got lost in the way. We need to talk about pickleball courts and the pavement trail. How important are they, do we really want them? We need a pavement trail, and,
Yeah, so we took a look at all of those things. The Cave Loop Trail is shown on the route. We walked this whole route. This is all mowed over here, right? Except for this section, we came down the hill and split through these trees and connected up where it was mowed right here. And this just lays right over that. You connect to the existing section of the asphalt trail right here. Continue west through these landscape planting trees, try to keep as many of those as possible. A few of those trees might need to move, but, and then making this turn, you know, there was a thought about the trail moving up this way. I think we nixed that due to the grades that we were coming across over here. Having this, having direct access to this from potential improved parking areas, I think it's pretty nice. Because you can park and get right on it. We still show a crossing right here, set back probably 40 feet from the spring point of this curve here. And with a paved trail just to the end, dead ends, but it gets to the basketball court and to the volleyball courts that are going to remain. Tennis courts going to remain for now. We did show relocation or removal of this piece of equipment and shifting up here. Closer to the other pieces of equipment, but really that's the only improvements that we have over here shown for now.
I noticed that you, want the paved, walking trail is nowhere about 8 feet wide. Why is that? That's a pretty significant thing.
No, it's just kind of a good multi-use two-directional path with.
You didn't say yourself a significant.
well, we don't know trail is 10 foot. We cut that, 8 foot's cheaper than 10 foot.
And 6 foot's cheaper than 8.
It is, yeah, it is.
Is that the point? Is that the same?
Well, six is ADA, but yeah, we
10
can.
would be better, but,
10 is federal ASHTO standard required width for paved trails. But that's we get a project that gets federal funding, you have to go 10 feet. 14 feet of boardwalks like the Heritage Trail. That's why that's that width. And that, that beautiful supported crossing on the north side of 22 on that bridge, that's 14 feet wide. Yeah. Because you can drive an ambulance through there. You can drive an ambulance on 10 feet and the wheels will stay on the pavement and you have to have 2 foot clear overhang. But when you have railings, that has to be 14 foot. So that's all where that comes from for federal ASHTO. So this is 8, and I think the existing trail section here was 7 or 8. So I kind of just matched that.
Well, you could also say 8 to 10 feet.
Yeah.
That way, because that way you can apply for federal funds if you're available, that kind of thing, and make the accommodation for it.
The other thing is the width of paper is usually 8. 6 feet, we never really asphalt stuff 6 feet wide because it's painting, their machine art like the smallest thing is like
The mix of farmers.
Yeah, so for them to lay down 8 feet of asphalt is almost as cost effective for them to do 6 because they gotta actually physically shorten things up. I mean, it's doable, it's done. We usually just short 8 because you get more bang for your buck. Based on
they have 10 footers also.
They have 10 footers, you can do that too, in one pass sort of deal. So this follows the route that we walked, here, right here in this junction. I think it was mentioned the sign there. the sign panel looks awesome. That's a sweet looking sign panel. I think it's very nicely done. The only thing I'm insinuating here is maybe it deserves a new base and posts. It's structurally fine, right? It's all
It's just,
aesthetics.
Yeah.
it's just four by four.
Yeah, but I would definitely keep that sign. It's a great shape. Well done. It's very nice. Yeah, but just address it up. I mean, because right now the panel looks better than the green, the green band supports there. So, could have that happen. It's just a fact, right? But showing the intersection here, and this could be some sort of plantings area rather than just having a T. That's all that really is right there. That could take whatever shape it needs to. So, parking and pickleball, that's the big thing. Yeah.
The dead end,
Mhm.
is that, did we say we wanted that?
It's not necessary. It's flat and easy to do, I'll tell you that. It's pretty wide open.
But we would be encouraging people to be crossing the entrance
Mhm.
where when people are coming 55 down to 0.
Good point.
Mhm.
I just wonder,
And it's only 4 feet off the turn, I agree.
Mhm.
I just wonder if you really want to encourage people to walk down there, or, now we walk on the other side of the fence, on the south side of the
And if they're
fence.
going here, that park over here anyway.
Anyways, yeah.
I don't know, can we make that optional, or
Would
I'd take it out.
take it out. Okay.
what do you think, Scott?
Is this
Yeah,
necessary?
I don't know, I would.
Okay. You can get rid of that one. Not a big deal.
Because again, most people use the tennis, they don't really use the volleyball, or the basketball. They can walk the volleyball a little bit.
So we'll just make that turn there.
I think that then discourages people from cross.
Well, okay, so we'll get more crossing farther away from the end.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and
Take across right here.
Yeah.
Yep, yeah, I don't know where those are at, but we can show those. Soccer stayed the same. The only thing I did over here, in this lot, I'm just showing, there was a pavilion talked about potentially. I don't know if that's still a desire, something that you do want to show. With something like that, I would, even if this stayed grass or if you improved it to gravel, I say keep on the blue parking area. That's all I say.
I know the baseball people with building facilities on that.
Mhm.
So there's,
It's classy, I can
Baseball day.
You have to hike, right line.
Two restrooms on the trail, the halfway of that.
Mhm.
But I think we need this a line, we need a crossover.
My husband eventually
Deep trailer.
Well, it makes sense
We'll
to
get
have
short
some,
without turning back.
it makes sense to have some facilities in the center of that side.
Mhm. I think the more you can accommodate the folks for playing baseball and just say, keep them over here, that's gonna relieve some of the parking pressure that you're gonna have over here maybe. It's just more desirable to, if you have two nice enclosed rests, porta johns, which that's what those are. And then the pavilion too, this can be flexible however you want it to be. I do show 2 paved ADA spots. This, can be accessible, but I don't think there's a lot of accessible parking in here or accommodations. I would say the building structure, that would be on a concrete pad with 2 ADA spots. Just concrete, it can be gravel and grass around it, that's fine, but you need a hard surface from the parking space to your destination. I would encourage keeping something like that in there.
Can we eliminate on this, where this existing, that is not abandoned drone field is just in the field? That's what I'm saying, if we could eliminate that for future plans, if we're so aware that there is more green field.
well, we should just.
It's actually 2 of them. But what I'm saying, it's not in that spot. Over a generation from now, we start digging, we can find, and we wonder what the heck is.
It's no point.
It costs that much money to trash it and fill it.
That was an old nursing home, drain field?
If there's a valve that they can switch, but I don't think they've ever used it.
Actually, John Muir said that they would alternate between the two.
Yeah, can we do that on that? Is that?
Yeah, we can do
Can we
that.
put on?
Yeah, yeah.
Also, we have,
And it's just the drain fields on that side of the road, there's no tanks. So there is a tank.
So you're noting the drain fields on the map?
I'm sorry?
Is that what you're asking him to note that it was
Yeah.
formerly a drain field?
Yeah.
Tanks and
Abandoned but still there.
where the state line goes to, it's probably right there. It's in the center of that. It's under the train.
Oh, right about here. Okay.
It's underneath the trail,
Well,
close to it.
Well, who recommended we don't have to crush it?
The health department's environmental division said it's not necessary. Only if you plan on putting a structure in that area, then it would be advisable.
I think it'd be advisable for us, at least we'll go ahead and get that out of there.
I'll get it, least, right?
Well, if we don't touch it, I'd crush it.
Yeah,
If we
we
don't
can't
follow
close
that,
down.
let's crush it.
Shield needs to stay
Yeah.
So you could get estimates from some places to see what you'll
Is that our obligation or the nursing home should do that? Or not?
Probably wasn't written that way.
What about you?
County Board of Commissioners got out the hardball and threw it, and they jumped. Because they knew that this board at one point would just plain cut it off. So they said, ooh, we better get at this.
Well, it's got nursing homes. Take them down.
I think we need to take care of the tanks. It doesn't
That's not an issue.
Yeah.
either be crushed or removed.
just removed that way, they're not holding shenanigans, not saying that they would.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So what are all the accessibility features that are being added right now that are being added?
Yeah.
I'm curious, because this is such a generational place.
Yeah.
I think of my husband who uses an electric chair. And now he'll be able to have this option if we go there. But everything else is pretty much off. He would very much struggle just going from this space where we parked to here to watch our son play baseball.
But he's on the trail though, right now. The trail.
There is that, so that would make it easier.
Yeah.
So, but just within, is there any thought of anything within, so that when you're going into this is a hill, this is a no. But, just in here, I mean, is there any, and we're planning on that, but is there anything like that where you give access at least to watch the sidelines or get closer?
Right now, we don't have anything showed right there, but,
Yeah,
You'd have to come in this way.
yeah.
Right years ago now.
yeah, so he used to just sit in the car last couple of years, so that's, and then a lot of people with walkers and canes. and,
Yeah.
You know, you have
We had talked a little bit about, kind of an interior loop. And we didn't go very far with the thought process, but we realized that once you are on the trail and you're going up towards the soccer field, you have quite a hill to climb, and then you have quite a hill to come down. But this whole piece on this side is flat. So there is capability of thinking about doing a loop per se. You know, you could come out a ways and then go back, or come out a ways and circle back. And there's a lot of different loops you could do.
Take the, you had, so do it.
There's one across over there anyway.
That's a hill.
It is a hill. It's quite a hill there. Just saving them. When I've taken my sons to these soccer fields, for whatever reason, on crappiest days, we would be stuck at the farthest field. And Don is way over there. Now, if there were an additional, well, you could say this is, you know, the beginner's trail, and you can keep going, it's the master trail. and equipment move this John a little bit further up to here, suddenly you can now start servicing these fields with this balloon a little further up the field. I understand it's a little hilly here, but there's already a start of a bit of a trail here. It will almost be a natural.
These are porta potties, so when they're delivered, how do they go in? Do they just go in here to drop them off?
Yeah, and then service them and pump them. Yeah. That's a big thing to think about, but now they're pumping them, I just saw them at, Victoria Park.
Veronica Valley.
Veronica Valley, last thing was great, Veronica, I just by there, and they had a pumper on the back of like a F-350.
Yeah.
Williamson Bay. So that if they have an 8-foot trail, they can get up and down. And you just say, try to be careful and not run up the sides of the big Scott's light or something that sort of thing. It's much easier for them to only pull in and deal with them here, deal with them here. But
They're also right around the corner.
yeah, I like, and I'm with you. This can be daunting for some. And chances are, there's a lot of people that are going to get down to here and say, dang, that's a far away, and turn back and they're like, crap, I got to go back up this hill again. So I like that. What I don't mind either is even, I'm just adding cost, right? It's doing something like that. Because now this could be, yeah, this is, and I pulled some grades off this LiDAR. That's why I mentioned the accuracy of it, but we'll see with regards to some accessible grades over here. I wouldn't shy away from showing this and then showing that, because what if this stayed mode for the interim, and then this got completed first, or something like this, and again, that services all this high-use activity, and maybe this could there's only 2 porta potties here, maybe there's 2 more over here, or this, a couple different things, different iterations, so it's more centrally located for all of that. I don't mind showing that, you're showing what could happen.
I like that. I know at Veronica Valley, we're looking at nibbling at a walking trail around that first pond versus a walking trail around the whole pond structure. And that way, phase 1, phase 2, or even 3 phases, to get the number into something that the county board might be willing to look at.
This is dead flat here at the base of that hill, so that's perfect for, adding something along these lines. Then we can figure out where this ties in, if it ties in right there, or something like that.
If you don't go for the big road, the tally's gonna be, that low one's fine, let's just go with that. We're not gonna follow it on the other stuff.
The big group?
As far as paying for it.
Oh, it's not paying, so you're on the level to get.
And then if this is shown, say, hey, fundraising, we want to complete the loop, this is, we can do it. Yeah, who knows, and instead, that can still stay low, and still be used the way it is right now, but,
Something Grand Traverse Community Foundation support, because they are all about DEI right now. And if you're talking ADA, you're talking inclusion. You're talking including my husband and his son's experiences out there. So that's huge and very straightforward with grant and donations.
yeah.
They need to hear someone else besides me.
It's heard. Just don't know what we do about it. I like that a lot. Thank you for sharing that.
I do too, very nice.
It's just, I think we got stuck in that big loop.
This might be more sellable, and that will be laid down the 2-stage.
See all those soccer parents, I mean, that's huge.
Strollers and wagons
And
and equipment.
put them in crushed aggregates.
No, they can, and that aggregate can stay there for years before you pave it. I mean, that's a start to your
Step one.
asphalt base that is useful in the interim. I really do like this, so because it's cool to see it on video, but that's a long way.
Yeah, making sure that is.
Now, Scott, we've had a pod of 4 porta potties on that side. That pod is, there's 4.
Right now, there's 4.
4 in one spot. And then, would it make sense to have another pot of 4 right there to get that half of the soccer people, or?
Like Laura says, you have to service them, so you have to be closer to the road.
Something to do with the smaller units. Drive right up this, it's on the back pickup. I've seen it.
Yeah.
If there was ever a cute subject.
It was, I was like, oh, that's the one, yeah, yeah. So, do you think something still deserves to be right here? These are.
Yes,
green-
because that's for the bar, and that's how you know, don't have the ball.
Well, Scott has pulled it over across the street.
Around all
That took a trick for archery, because we
Oh.
should
the,
have it right
sometimes
outside.
baseball people want dollars to 4 inches of it across.
Scott takes it for a little.
What are we gonna do?
Wait till it's clean and then I move it.
So we talked about for any of these, and this what I'm showing is the.
There's not a porta potty on the other side of the road.
Right now,
There is now, but there's not one there.
yeah. I'm showing these as with a layout that has a hard enclosure, like a freestanding porta-john enclosure. Someone mentioned the ones at Palmer Woods Forest Reserve, in the bike tracks there. That's what the footprint of these are, the same ones as those. So I showed 2 porta-johns here, 1 accessible, 1 standard. There's actually 6 shown here, 2 accessible, 4 standard. And we could do either 2 more up here. Again, we're communicating what would kind of make sense. Whether it ends up being 2 or 4, we can show 4 there maybe, and it ends up being
What do you think, Scott?
10 to 12 porta-johns.
I'm not there for soccer events. Probably
As well as that, going on, what, 10 years ago, so
Yeah.
it hasn't changed much.
Well, they're all unisex.
Can't we just say 2, 4?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know there's
Mhm.
a bunch of people.
That's where companies-
That would be
Yep.
such a nice thing.
Yeah.
Just saying, when you're over here and run
Yeah.
over,
Yeah.
Here.
Yeah.
get it a lot. Yep.
Well, whatever we do here, we should probably do over there. It's
I would go
3.
there.
No, because that's
Oh,
not.
there's 6 here, there's only 4 here.
He put 6 in his.
Yeah, there's 2 accessible for
Oh,
standard,
yeah.
Yeah.
and we're really close to the
I
first
just-
one, it was
I think 2,
Yeah.
2 here.
yeah.
Yeah.
Let's be reasonable.
Well, we got 2 here, 2 here, 6
Two
there.
accessible?
That's a huge improvement.
And 2
Oh.
accessible?
I think that is
like 1 ADA and 1 regular. That way you're covered.
And families love the ADA ones as well. Because we're
Oh,
just
yeah.
You can bring multiple kids, they can
Yes.
stand there without touching walls.
Yep.
As if they will.
Yeah, you can make it, and when I say standard, that, all that does is give you a little bit smaller shelf, I mean, that for the full family or accessible ones, I mean, the shelter ends up being, because you have to keep the thing through the doors and maneuver it back in it, and you're swing the door open, you can't turn around and come in. Is what it is, so all of these could be that size. You pay probably more for the maybe service, but, but I do show some regular ones in there, just. Estimate, but,
Well, I think it's used
Bear in mind, they're each about $90 a
yeah. So,
Well, we talked about what we're gonna do in the parks, and we haven't gone toward flush toilets. And we do have the old-fashioned vault toilets that are not in favor. So, if we're gonna head toward, what are we gonna do in the parks, and having very nice slabs that are accessible and having them the right size when they are put in might allow us to close down the vault toilet and just go to porta potties and not have the volume.
I was reviewing my pictures and came across some listed side there, and was wondering if we just don't edit down all that thing to this.
Jerry wants to, Jerry wants to go.
I think it's time. Well, and after we replace them.
I think, yeah.
Yeah, that should be our
What's your maintenance building here? Where's the toilets? Oh, right here.
The vaults are, that's really old and gone. The porta potties, slabs and the porta potties, these units, they get in and they service them, and it's done.
And then paying tens of thousands of dollars for cleaning.
The vaults are, and there is a danger factor that Jerry keeps sitting here as not as an employee, but as a member of the community. He's been real vocal.
We're going
Every
to
year.
address that in turn here to replace this.
Demolished.
Be demolished.
Demolition is the-
Yeah,
Okay.
So maybe when I get estimates for,
crushing that.
right, the drain field.
Probably the same people.
It's not as easy as that. That's optional as well.
No, okay. So that's
All the power departments.
the pickle building.
The closet is.
Well, that's
It must be a
it.
meetup.
Is that in the
Shut
vault? In the vault
Can't make
building?
a power bank.
Yeah, when you walk in the room, it's that closet.
It's all the power right there.
That's.
So that would have to be preserved in some way,
Yeah.
shape, or form.
I mean, you could
That's
just.
Sure.
Call it storage building or something.
Yeah.
Repurpose.
Yeah.
Call it, yes. The block building.
Yeah.
That's.
That actually makes more sense.
So let's call it
Except this is a
repurpose.
picnic area and everything, people here.
I think we should put a trigger here, switch it.
That's two porta potties. Well, the same, we run it with some holes. Call.
Yes, you're right. The two here would go to add to the four then.
How many pickleball courts do we want?
I like these.
So we show.
Quite the selection.
Yeah, we have this selection, and this will, not to add to it, but, I only brought 6 of these, so we like to look at the parking. You have to go.
Thank you.
Thank you for your input.
Thank you, this was very interesting. Myles, Kimmerly, thank you.
Yeah, thanks for that.
Thank you, Brian.
We kind of have some standards for parking, okay, so, and I'll run through the recreation area, I'll run through the top. I broke this down to the north half, which I'm calling this area. So, in that, because you already have some parking out here that probably accommodates this and this off the trail, so I'm just kind of, giving it some off at the end, but just for uses here. This is the north, this is kind of the south, everything here is south. So the north half up here, baseball fields, we'll say we have 2 of those at 20 cars per field. That's 40 parking spaces. This is gonna act as if everything's completely used, let's say, for the most part. 10 tennis courts, 2, with 2 cars each, so that's 4. Pickleball, each rendition shows 8, we can definitely knock that down, but we have 8 courts, 4 cars per court, that's another 32 spots needed. I got tennis there as well, so let's make sure that picnic shelter with a playground, so there's 4 shelters, 2 cars apiece, let's say, 1, 2, 3, 4. Assume that includes the use of some of the playground. These are all guesstimates, so let's say there's 8 cars dedicated to this. And it could be 12, it could be 20, it could be 2, but it's good rather than.
Seats pretty big retirement parties.
Yeah, in any time, in any season, in any event, this is gonna balloon way past this or be completely nobody there. So, asphalt trail, I just put 4 cars, for some 4 cars potentially parking and walking on this thing, and that's the only reason for being here, and that's kind of just down here. So, additional, and then I account for in whether the space goes, 14 spaces of parallel that could still happen here. I don't want parking on each side of the entry. We would hope that this would only be overflow when this stuff is full. So let's just say if there's 14 available there, plus another 30 in this lot, right? Because I'm kind of thinking about, yeah, this lot is, if this doesn't exist, they're going to be coming here and parking. But I want to count this as, used to maybe these two here, or at least overflow. So what you need versus what you have, minus what you have, you might need an additional 40, let's say 44 parking spaces here to service these on a full road basis. You can look at it at maybe 8%, 80% to these too, so I'm kind of playing with it, but like if it wasn't completely at the time. Similarly, looking at the south area here, which includes the soccer, disc golf, and picnic shelter. Again, a few spots for asphalt trail. I can see a couple people parking up here, getting up there, and then accommodations for the hiking trail as well. Disc golf, I just said at any one time, 20 car spots for the disc golf course. I don't know if that's, I know.
That would be a lot, unless it was a term.
Okay, so let's say this is probably a conservative end, but still probably doesn't meet the PPP, tournament game happening at the same time. Let's say it's in that 75% percentile, but it's a good gauge. Looking all down on that, high end, maybe you need 73 parking spots, but if you take 80% of that and average, that's around the 60 mark. And when you're out here, I think we said let's see what 60 looks like. So if you kind of run the numbers and you kind of put a little bit to each use, this thing will be there. It's bare right now, it's going to be there. But there's going to be overflow at times too. But just as a gauge, 60 is probably not a bad idea.
And that's what that is right there.
Any of these renditions show approximately anywhere from 55 to 60 cars or so, 50 to 60 cars. So it's not over, I would say. Herman Park has 60 spots right now. They don't have ball fields, but they have a couple more tennis courts. And they have 3 pickleball courts. And they have soccer fields as well too. They don't have this. They have a loop trail, so it's very kind of similar too. Yeah, they have one big pavilion. They have a little bit less of this stuff here. But they do have a pond, so it's kind of gauging that too. So total, everything included, you have quite a few parking spots here. There's 35 plus 16 plus another 20 plus 60 over here. So there'd be plenty of parking in busy times it could be used. So I would say 60 cars, I want to go higher. If you wanted to add it back, you could also, any of these renditions, not build a full parking lot or take a little bit out. With the amount of grass that you have around here, I wouldn't go more than 60. So, this rendition right here, in any of them, there's 8 pickleball courts, and
The orientation of the pickleball court doesn't matter as much.
this is a good orientation for pickleball. So, yep. Yeah, they are. So this one, they're all a little bit different, but kind of looking at a lot of the same thing. An upper parking lot that would probably be the larger of the two. Let's say if it's split, we're working with the terrace sort of approach here. You're going to have to do that, and thinking about stormwater management in this as well too. Any of these have stormwater coming down into, this is a 15-foot swale, and I was looking at the grades, these would all be, probably 2-foot grade differentials or more, here. So there's some difference.
We do a big storm at all fuel slots.
Yeah.
Only place.
Well, it's the lowest. And, the thought is that separating these enough that you would have room for a swale to transmit water, pretty much the only direction to go is maybe maybe you dig a big hole here or something. It could be just vegetated, yeah. Never mowed and still look decent. But have
No islands.
no, yeah, it would all be, you have some crossings here, this would, in any of these with a two-foot grade differential, these would be steps, we probably have a couple set of steps, to get people up and down there, with the railing on each side, you'd have to accommodate something like that, but you also think of your ADA as well too. So, anywhere there's parking, this ADA here could supplement using the trail. I like ADA access down here as well too. It's a lot flatter, I'll show you the grade we have as we get up here. But this needs to happen somewhere. We really want to be able to connect people from the top to the lower here, in some way, shape, or fashion. I think it's appropriate to do. We show a trailhead kiosk here as well. That being closer to maybe a larger parking lot with a couple benches, maybe a different pavement or something there to kind of distinguish that, and kiosk as well too, that would have like maps and changeable information and say you need that. I think this one was probably at least preferred because of the orientation of this here. Again, this here's your 200-foot line, so you can see how close we're getting to the ball field, but soon, and it sounded like it was expressed that the desire to have that fenced in, that would be nice, to delineate that. And I was thinking visually too, now this is wide open. I say you got a fence here, so it wouldn't have to be that much different, but this is 10-foot high fence, along all these. So you'll definitely see that from the road. It's going to seem like more of a mass in this area maybe than the open field and only the limited amount of fencing that you have there.
Parking, 21 spot,
Mm-hmm.
just made it single row and bigger ball.
Mm-hmm. Yep, you absolutely do that. Yep.
Other than losing that all those spots.
That would give you more of that. 20.
Yeah, right. Yeah, you could extend this a little bit more too, right? I mean, because this would you knock out another 20 feet to push this way.
Lose some parking.
Use some parking, yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so yeah, maybe this one could go this way, and we could have these options in the back of our pocket, but I mean, in the master plan is that there's going to be parking and pickleball here. But we've also looked at this to make sure that any of these scenarios are constructible in terms of accessibility and grades and stormwater management of it. This only shows 6 pickleball courts, and look at your straightening out right there. As much as you're touching that, I don't necessarily like that. So we got 25, 8, and 15 away from this road. Definitely keeping these trees and keeping any of that trail back behind here. Any of these renditions would have, in concrete could have bump outs for the pickleball seating, and when people are waiting or done with it. We like having this. It doesn't need to happen every single gate that you come in at. It could happen once in the middle or maybe 2 here, but that's what the little flexible thing that probably is going to be a little bit of what players desire.
That's what
Yeah, and it gets hot, it's wide open. I don't show any shade structures or anything up here, but sometimes you see a little umbrella sort of type of piece of equipment or something there that can happen. But even though, stormwater swales, I would plant any trees too. Mm-hmm. Yep. And then this one kind of addressed probably more of the I would say trying to move this thing around spatially. You're still cranking this right here, so if you did want to go from 39 and you wanted to go to 29, your area of your lot could be here, right? And this thing could come out a little bit of the ways.
Does it stop a ball from going over?
The fence?
Yeah.
This one right here?
Yeah.
No. Home runs would be.
So parking there could be a concern for some people in this car.
Yeah, if they are, especially if it's more than little league playing,
What's the size of all of them?
We could put a section of taller fence
Sure.
immediately adjacent to the short fence.
If we put that up around that parking lot, not the ball fields. Because they don't like the tall fences in the kitchen. It's low. That's what we need to
Trip over.
Without breaking stuff.
They put that big foam thing across.
Oh, yeah.
Break arms and stuff. So, yeah, well, either way, we could do some fencing to protect cars and maybe even pickleball players.
Yeah, this would be, this at the end of the pickleball courts, you're going this way. These are 10 foot on these ends, but then they drop down to like 4 footers here. Because there's no need for extra fence along the sides of that. But you know, this kind of just illustrates a few different layouts but always keeping some sort of accessibility for parking area to at least one lane courts. And then pretty much access to this trail in a few different areas. This is the 2 ADA 4 standard Porter John enclosures here, just basically that big pad in an area that's kind of somewhat flat, you know, and you deal with grades and a lot of these things, that's all they have to be massaged and worked out once once you get into the actual engineering and this kind of stuff, but we want to see it being achievable, you know, mentioned before.
And pull the glass.
He showed psychology on us.
He showed the one that didn't like. This is the one that really don't like.
Well, the orientation.
Well, yeah, I was finally cluing into, I should be facing.
And the parking makes more sense.
So this might be easier to see the three next to each other. I guess this was my third one I put together. Let's say maybe it's not the last one I wrote tonight, but
having the orientation like this, when you have more pickleball courts, they'll figure out where to park.
Kind of like getting those 6 together in your second.
Yeah, that's the 2 courts just sits down.
You don't like that?
this one. The other thing is, these are pretty much square, so, you know, there is a chance I could just rotate these.
Pickleball is social, I'll be over here.
Oh, I
Mhm.
they all want to be.
If you bump this in a little bit, would you have enough room to put another one?
I think so, and as I was, these are pretty much square, so I probably just didn't take the time to turn them the right way.
Oh, so
But that's a
in
plan.
the future.
You know, this could, yeah. It'd be a lot like this one. And then the difference between, you know, this concept and this concept is the change in the parking area. The nice thing is, as you mentioned, pickleball is social, so this actually has all 4 of them together, somewhat together.
You can change the orientation, is what you said.
Yes. The other thing is, this is not only going to facilitate pickleball. You know, there's going to be people doing this.
Totally, that's super good.
So, and if you were to do it on this lot, you're walking all the way around and you're less kind of, it feels like this is pickleball dedicated where in turn, you know, this is going to facilitate probably, especially having a kiosk near this being trail access, let's say. I told you that when I get by analysis a little better too. So, as I mentioned, this is low, so we probably build this thing up. You know, any of these, you'd be cutting into your grade here, a couple feet, and filling in here, a couple feet. And if we can, you know, these are all just big planes that we play with, and you want to, you know, honor your asphalt grade at the wheel because you're gonna have to meet that. So we have to think about, you know, exactly what elevations these things are, but in a quick planning level grading exercise that can be done.
At the same time, we've got a dozer in there working, we're gonna level up the baseball fields.
Yeah.
Correct. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, they complain about this.
So from here to here, the grade goes up, right?
Yeah. So
realistically, we're gonna be building 4 at a time, probably. We're gonna look at the at once. Which one would you recommend?
The other one. Here's the thing, you've got a large group of people in there who are really surface about this, and maybe.
Oh, my gosh.
4 is better than nothing.
Yeah, wasn't the last Eagles ring something like 16 quarters? Yeah.
Oh, and they can raise the money.
Yeah.
Yeah, they use the money.
The nice, yeah. The nice thing is when you go plan this, and these are completely independent, and no driveways, and anything else. I thought about maybe, putting your parking area somewhat lengthwise, running it this way, and then putting your pickleball this way and having the central drive. But you can't really, you have to do this. These are 2-foot contours, right? So you'd have one big long
Water slide.
paved sledding and a water slide, yes. So the orientation and separation of these allows us to manage that water. And if this is fenced, maybe this does turn into a big hole. And you use some of that excavation to fill this up. And once it's a big hole, like, we see that stuff with nice, nice seed.
Well, I think the overall plan, you have the ball field leveling, and this work together and see if you can balance it.
And that's next step, right? That's the study plan engineering sort of stuff. But I think, I kind of like this. I would love getting more, even 20 foot. If you're coming in here and creating all this, let's see if we can, and the nice thing is now I don't really have to do this. I can kind of tighten this up too, And the second thing about tightening that up, you probably keep, as much as you say you don't want people racing their bikes on this, it's gonna happen, but if you do a tight turn as opposed to a nice gradual.
It's too tight, because you got a crown there.
Okay. Yeah, no, it won't be a 90. It won't be a 90. Yeah, exactly.
Were you worried about the skier or you?
I'm not gonna be skiing.
But if it did get rid of this, I would be able to shift it. I'd love to keep this parking in here just because, it's gonna get used, probably gonna get used up, but, and especially if you build this second, and you'll see how quick and how often this thing fills up, and you might say, we don't need 21, we need 34. Or something, and especially with the addition of these things, it's just by adding this, honestly, you're gonna get probably more use out of the rest of the park than, just doing that, so.
So our consensus, that's our middle one then?
That's what I would with this radius.
You're gonna leave them all in the master plan, and I'm just talking about which, we're gonna do one or the other first.
Well, I think one ends up on the big plant, because the end product here is gonna be a graphic of, one. The thing is that plan is, an idea, right? It doesn't have to be constructed that way. I would keep all this stuff in your back pocket and in the file, because just like you have now, you have one rendering of the whole plan. It's gonna show at large scale here, that it's gonna show whether the law codes or park. End of the day, if it gets built in any one of these ways, right? It's all same use, generally the same use.
Okay. There's a potential of losing some space here. We've got that trail running through, but, we might be able to tuck some more pickleball in there.
One more parking. And I don't love, we have 39 spaces. Pretty much, what I really like to do is every 10 or 15 spaces do this, right? And plant a tree. So you don't have to see a parking. If we can push out this way a little bit, which I don't see, it's achievable for sure. This could be really long. I would definitely be breaking this stuff up. I'll probably continue this sort of stuff in the master plan graphic, that it's not just going to be a football field.
Right.
Yeah, and then maybe say, because it's that you identified on the rendering, stormwater management area.
That could be a neater process.
Yeah.
Sutton Bay's been playing around with their rain gardens, and they get to be a huge maintenance situation. People do really well for 2 years, and then those people move away and lose interest. But there are some native grasses that would fit in there nicely and kind of overpower anything else, and mow them once a year kind of thing. Versus, I mean, if you can't mow it every time you're out there.
I'm going to add, level wall fields. Make this a less of a slope, so you can mow it.
I think
It's super sketchy mall right here.
I think there's gonna be extra material, so that's,
And, I like having 15 feet wide in here just because it separates and 50 feet off 50 feet is not that much, right? And then you have a tall fence here. So I don't know if we would cram it this way and all, but I would try to, that's steep there, but we have plenty of room to even have the toe of that slope up now, another 20
Yeah,
feet.
it doesn't take,
we've got a trail going through there.
Yeah, and get our trail going through here too. And then this can, these are expansion, this can kind of keep doing this. I'm probably going to show this one coming out another 20 feet or so, just to even see what that looks like.
Fence.
Yeah, maybe.
Fence.
So it ends up being 220,
Yeah, flexible.
220. I don't even know if we can get 30, but I'll see what that looks like. So,
So you'll have extended parking, the trail through the center, and a little extra with the ball fence.
it'll cram it in there at that point, and I'll probably take this and see if I can hold these parking spaces. What's really guiding this trail location here is right here are the split rail fences. So if you want to go out there and kind of imagine where that is, it's just on the other side of the roads. Seems reasonable.
those local fences are, centered in the trees.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Yep.
The trees are centered.
Mm-hmm.
If you're gonna put in any kind of, or shape or in the plan, or
We can do whatever we want. That's kind of the next level of detail that we could show. I don't have any, per se, structures, like shade, hard structures like pavilions, or anything like that. But you see the shade structures that might only have 3 poles and it's a fabric sort of thing. You see that sometimes around, these activity areas. Those
so
are,
there'll be room for it, you're saying?
I think so, yeah. The trees when they grow up, hopefully will provide some good shade too.
Speaking of parking.
And the dugouts and the improvements that they were asked to do with the ball fields, that doesn't need to be necessarily in this plan? Signage, or was it the scoreboards?
I think that those are probably more, verbiage in the side, in the list on the side of the plan, this is just called, improve, ball field facilities.
Okay.
And we can sit there and list all the improvements if we want. I'm just thinking about the final graphic here, but maybe that belongs in like a plan or something. I know our work really is just to create the graphic and things, but everything we're talking about should be listed somehow or in your rec plan for sure. When you reference the graphic, list it out in more detail, point out and say, I don't think the layout changes much. Structures and all the fields here, but.
Where does a scoreboard go? Usually isn't it out in the field someplace?
Yeah, it's gonna be out here.
So
it's
that's
gonna
more
be out
flexible
here.
on it.
I don't know what kind of listing electricity you're getting.
Working on the big scoreboard, no. You're putting way out there, somebody has.
Jumbotron.
We're not talking electronic, are we?
No. I don't think anybody was, but several people mentioned it.
Electrotorally energy.
Who's the woman, Nicole or something, said she wants to figure out how she could raise money to do it? Did you
Oh,
guys
I
get
saw
that?
that email.
You got that?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
I thought it got lost somewhere. I looked for it later. Was it a text or a?
No, it was an email.
One thing I wanted to bring up, because I'm looking at this trail, we know there's some steep spots in it, and again, using this high level stuff. But I can drop these points on here, and at any point see what the slope is along this trail. So ADA is 5% or less. We're achieving that about to this point. You know, up here, we get about that. Trails are treated a little bit differently than sidewalks around the building. If you're between 5 and 8% around the building, it's considered a ramp, and you have to have handrails and stuff. Recreation trails are treated a little bit differently, especially if they're out in the woods, you know, national forests or state parks sort of thing. But there are still some standards to it. So you can run in the same, you know, there's probably going to be sections, and this may take a little turn once you get the hard topo data in there. We'll figure it out. But, you know, you can go at a slope of 8% or something like that, let's say to 30 feet, and then you have to have like a flat area, you know, and a rest area. You want it, you don't want it to be super noticeable or really inconvenient for someone, right? You know, wants a smooth trail, but they're just to know that there should be some thought put into that when it's designed to get you up to some of these spots. And even how I routed this trail kind of along this grade here, you know, this is 5% right here too. So what does that mean? Does this do a little switch? Does this kind of take a little switchback? So it may not, you know, look exactly like the way it was, but the thought being that, you know, it sneaks on this side of this tree. And it accommodates the restrooms here. I mean, this could go this way as well too. We start to get some steep stuff here, a little more gentle on that side. So again, big picture idea, but it could take a different route. There's no problem. Which way? This way? Yeah. So, you know, this may go this way, and this may just go from there, right? And this is a pretty big pad, so there'll be some grading for this in here, likely. I don't show much for improvements to this area right here. We assume it's going to be gravel still. I think if we do some overarching this, if you wanna overlay some of this grass over area, clean that up, define your edges a little bit. You know, we have the little posts with a wire in there that could end up turning to, you know, yeah, right. It'd be nice for it all to kind of look the same in terms of material and not blow it out of the proportion for costs and things like that. Split the is pretty nice. I mean, it's not bulletproof. But some of those things that kind of tie it all together.
It'd be nice to be able to keep people parking here. They park under that shade tree, and it's not going to fit both sides.
And that's another, this gets real steep, that's 10% right there showing. So this turn gets steep pretty quick, so there could be some grading coming in here. You know, this could, or maybe it's not, you know, maybe it's to the point past here, it's not ADA. Because, yeah, and the main point, again, it's where you park to where your facilities are, that should be accessible. That's what they call accessible. So, and if they want, I mean, they're not saying that if you're in a jail, you want to go up 10%, go for it. You know, I'm sure people do that all the time. It's just not it's not code, let's say, or considered that way, but there's no way getting around some steep stuff here. It'd be pretty tough, but.
What if we did that southern one, use that, and that would be our idea.
You can get around it all with retaining walls and some good, and decent amount of grading, but again, that's added cost. But if you just say, this is kind of our ADA, you know, which gets you to almost all of the facilities, used facilities here, and now we didn't talk about it, but what do you think the crossing would be, instead of getting rid of this one?
And you could even go down back this way.
Yeah.
If you want more distance than you need it. Or it doesn't have to be glued. It's nice to have a loop.
Well, the crossover, pavilions is probably the most common, right?
Right about here.
I'm thinking, isn't that right, Scott?
That would be, I mean, this would be a natural spot for parking.
Mhm. We would like to not have,
Kiosk.
yeah, and I think that, especially since, I'm gonna call this a main parking area. Now, if there's a new one, it's gonna be main, because there's limited space and expansion here. If you do wanna go out this way, you're not gonna interrupt the trail that we're gonna do here, it's just an extension, as long as you're keeping out of your expanded ball field area. I would say, if you wanna do a crossing, get them off the pavement, and you take the sidewalk and go straight to here, probably, and make your crossing there. So you're not crossing at the driveway, even though people aren't walking, but to be, somewhat designated.
By the bathroom, isn't that, I mean,
Okay.
crossing at tattoos?
That's the, so, sure.
Thanks, Laura.
Thanks, Laura. But I think I do notice here now too, this is a paved
Yeah,
walkway.
that's what I was.
Is that the main pavilion probably?
Isn't it? Yeah. Well, there is, it is a paved walk. It is a paved walk, so.
So at least we, getting that pavilion accessible. Potentially. So one of those over here.
That's true. A lot of changes, but not.
Yeah.
We're getting close.
It's helping, and I think, that accessibility component to this is gonna really, yeah, and, other seniors. I think it's gonna need it, want to use it, and try it, but wanting to do it for what it's not. So,
where do we go from here?
so I make updates to this based on what we talked about, the first layout, the first sections, and then you want, I only want to render this thing one time. Oh, come on. No, it's once you get into that mode, it's a whole other thing that you're getting.
We're talking more money.
Yeah, and I know we're limited. Yeah, so maybe it's,
So if someone has something to say it now.
well, the thing is, I can update this in this format right now and send it back to you guys and kind of mock up what that final draft looks like before I put the color to it. Let's see if we want more notes or revisions.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll do it one more round. Okay. Oh, yeah, for sure. So, okay.
Is there a time frame on that that you're thinking?
So I can probably get back on it in the first week of November. I'm actually taking off for next week, for vacation, and then, I'll be back in the office and working on that stuff. So, do you have a meeting you're trying to hit in November?
Now, we have a first Wednesday in November, we have a regular commission meeting, park recognition, and we'll just mention that we met and
Okay.
we're working on it.
No.
Not at all, we haven't done that.
Okay.
Yeah, so I should shoot for the first half of November, because this is the first big effort I'm doing is moving some stuff around. So,
First of December.
but by the first of December.
Let's say last week in November, because the first week of December will be
Yeah.
our meetings.
And that's,
John wanted to do
yeah.
it.
This is gonna be helpful for us, then we, our job, now, committee, our committee has to prioritize what order words, our emphasis on, pickleball courts, on the pavement trail, on the dog park. Those are the three things we talked about today. We have to, which is the most important one for us to look for funding for. Yeah.
I think once there's people there, you put space.
So, General, what do you know now?
Yeah.
General, what do you think?
I'm sorry.
We have to focus on one thing, which is the pickleball, the dog park, or the trail.
For fundraising or for what? I mean,
When to do it.
When to do it.
well, I think the pickleball has clearly been more input from the public. Then dog park, we haven't really heard. I would agree with pickleball.
Pickleball,
Long Township.
Little League field.
Yeah.
We're gonna be doing earthwork. And, you know.
I gotta
We're
run.
gonna have someone there to work sure. Do the earthwork.
Remove this old one. Set yourself up for, unless you want to keep this for something you use, once you build this, it makes a ton of sense. So you get
Here's
your,
someone.
I would say, well, you got something, yeah, earthwork for this, strip this, pull that fence down, prep yourself for someone to come and build that big rectangle. And then move your little mass or.
So Long Township had these meetings.
When you get the design engineering plans, we'll hardcore
Something like that.
Oh, yeah,
construction this. We're gonna put a big
Definitely.
rectangle there and grade that thing up too. It's all gotta work. And we
Just a
can cut
public
down.
review
we
of
can
the
cut-
plan.
we use that as cut down.
Nice little landowner.
Yeah,
You know, initial prep for the trail.
I know her,
Mhm.
so.
Softening this, and leveling this. If we end up with extra material, it's over there.
And just a thought, you know,
Well, the extra material.
and just a thought is that, you know, everybody wants pickleball, it's kind of getting it right now.
Yeah, even if it's just one.
The people who don't play pickleball,
Yeah.
Same place.
get a little ticked off, so if you're working grading and paving out here
Yeah,
already.
yeah,
and you
that's-
did, that's saying, hey.
Good winter time.
We're not, just not getting
Yeah.
it. So,
This, and this.
I would say, if you had a goal to put a large accessible component in that first phase, it would probably look pretty good.
Probably ought to identify as we get along what we do on sport.
You mean staging it? Or,
Yeah, well,
you know,
yeah,
so,
spoil. Just like that. Let's finish the meeting. I need to go.
Oh, we have to close the meeting. I'm sorry about that.
We did lose one member.
I'm staying here though, until he comes back.
I think she,
Okay.
I moved to adjourn.
Who's making the motion? Adjourn?
Any public comment? Any board comments? Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second?
Support.
All in favor? Yes.
Aye.
We're adjourned.
Adios.
Thank you, Laura.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, thank you.
yeah, I appreciate your patience on this too. It's been
Oh,
pretty wild.
thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, Lori.
You're welcome.
Is there a lot of-
Yeah, you can put it on.
We're asleep now.
Yeah, I know. We'll do it.
Great. Thanks for coming.
All right. We need it.
Thanks, Steve.
Okay.